Thank you for watching RooTV.
Welcome back to another episode of RooTV. I'm Jazlyn Summers.
And I'm Deja, McKenzie.
Well, Roos, UMKC finally has a football team. Stay tuned to hear more about that at the end of today's show. Senators and executives of the Student Government Association here at UMKC met last Monday to progress legislation and elect a new position. Yasmin Hassan was declared the SGA's new press secretary after being nominated by President Ophelia Griffin. Members of the board highlighted that they were impressed by Hassan's marketing skills and her dedication. Senator Shawit Abai presented legislation for a tip box on campus. This would allow students to file complaints by simply scanning a QR code. Abai states, "How can we claim to represent a student body and make changes on the behalf of them if there's no way to hear from them?" One of the other items covered at the meeting were that the newly elected directors of first-year council are planning to interview 22 members and hope to have a complete council by next week.
Cafe Corazon, established in 2019, is a local Latino and Indigenous-owned coffee shop that brings an unparalleled perspective to the Kansas City coffee scene. Coffee and small businesses are loved in KC, but Latino-owned coffee shops are rare in the area. The Herrera family, who co-owned the business, Dulcinea, Mia, and Curtis, saw a hole in the community and decided they were the ones to fix it. The trio wanted to give the beans a voice by showcasing and paying respect to the cultures they come from. The store got its name because the owners wanted to come from the soul. Cafe Corazon, meaning Heart Cafe, translates to something bigger for the family. We were the first Latino coffee shop to ever be in Kansas City, which made it an experience for most people and a way to educate others about our cultures, Herrera said. "We are very inclusive, so we welcome all cultures. The Latino who comes here usually feel at home." The owners want Cafe Corazon to have more locations in the future, as well as sell their coffee beans at international grocery stores and coffee shops. Events are held regularly at Cafe Corazon, and the community is welcome to attend and connect with their homegrown team. For more information, check out their Instagram at Cafe Corazon KC.
According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, COVID cases and hospitalizations in Kansas City are rising. Cases spiked right after Labor Day, with Missouri reporting over 300 COVID hospitalizations in the following week. Thankfully, there is a new vaccine to be administered within the following weeks. To combat the increase of cases, Jackson County Public Health is offering appointments for free drive-up COVID tests, as well as free testing kits and masks. Remember that if you are feeling symptomatic, it is always a good idea to get tested in order to protect your classmates and be treated properly. If you are unsure of where to get a test, you can find out by entering your zip code at testinglocator.cdc.gov, and it will show you where you can find several sites across Kansas City that offer free testing.
Now, let's take it over to sports with Jackson and Christian to hear about that Chiefs win.
Welcome back into the den. I'm Jackson Ogden. The Chiefs took down the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 2 by a final score of 17-9. In what was an uglier performance than many hoped for, the Chiefs committed a whopping 12 penalties for 94 yards as they continued the theme of shooting themselves in the foot early on in the season. Luckily for KC, the big three of Mahomes, Kelsey, and Jones were back in action and carried them to a much-needed bounce-back victory. Travis Kelsey had a quiet game for his standards, but still put up 4 catches and a crucial touchdown in the second half. Chris Jones, on the other hand, had a very typical performance coming back from his holdout, posting 1.5 sacks and an insane 92.8 PFF grade. The Chiefs get to play the most overhyped QB in the league next week in Justin Fields in what should be a blowout win for KC over the putrid mess of an NFL team that is the Chicago Bears. On to UMKC athletics, men's soccer picked up a gigantic 2-1 win over Creighton last week via a Griffin Cook 89th minute goal. They're set to take on Omaha on Saturday right here at Durwood Soccer Stadium. Women's soccer picked up their 4th consecutive draw this past week against Southern Indiana and then Tulsa. They'll kick off their Summit League play as well with road matches at North Dakota State and North Dakota this week. Topping it off with volleyball, the team came home for the first time this season to compete in the KC Classic and went 1-2 in the tournament with a win over Austin Peay. The conference gauntlet begins for them as well as they head to Omaha on Thursday before finishing up the week right here against South Dakota State on Saturday. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Now let's go ahead and kick it on over to Gabe Rocha to find out what we should be wearing as the fall season begins to kick in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Roo's Closet. I'm your host, Gabe Rocha. Now, before we get started, I want to take this moment to say that every single person has their own sense of style. Whether that be jeans and a hoodie or pants and a blazer, this program is about promoting self-confidence and exploring fashion as a means of self-expression. If that sounds good, let's get into it. Alrighty, everybody. So for today's episode, we are going to be talking about fall trends for 2023. That's right, fall is just around the corner. I don't know about you, but personally, I love fall. I love it when the temperature starts to drop and the colors of the trees start to change. Being from California, we normally don't get a true season of fall. So, being in the Midwest, experiencing an actual fall season is something I am looking forward to this year. Well, enough of that. You want to hear about the upcoming fall trends of 2023. So, according to a press release from H&M Newsroom, it states, Baroque meets neo-noir with romantic, opulent silhouettes, mixing with a faux leather looks and denim, inspired by the late 1990s. Power shoulders, narrow waist, and elongated lines feature among the strong suiting, long dresses, and statement tops. Sheer fabrics, lace, and pearl embellishments elevate each piece spectacularly, while a neutral color palette of black, silver, and earth tones, off-white keeps the tones sophisticated. Okay, this is a lot to unpack here, but I can definitely agree with the fact of neutrals and earth tones are definitely what you need going into the fall season. Looking at major brands like H&M, Banana Republic, Tilly's, Forever 21, and more, we can definitely see the influence of the late 1990s and the early 2000s nostalgia. Faux leather I have seen on every website and every single store. I personally am not a fan of the faux leather look trend, but according to Daniela Obori from .com, faux leather has become super stylish. This look is very traditional and is also a perfect casual look as well. Very versatile, you can go anywhere in between. Something I am also looking forward to rather, is the use of layers. Layers with flannels, sweaters, and cardigans, and more. I just love a good cardigan. Okay, personally, I am not completely sure about the trend set for this 2023 fall season, but that goes back to my main point. Everyone has their own sense of style and has their own preferences on what makes them feel comfortable and confident. At the end of the day, that is what fashion is all about. Well, that's all I have time for today. If you have questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. And I would love to hear for suggestions on what I should talk about for our next program. Follow me on Instagram at GabeRocha57 for some trendy and fashionable tips. Thanks for listening, and I always appreciate it.
The Kansas City Chiefs and UMKC announced an official partnership on September 6th, the school announced. The collaborations offer growth for students, success, and recruitment. The 5-year agreement provides leadership, mentorship, and career-shattering opportunities as well as scholarships. There will also be events held for prospective students, which include stadium tours and other programs. We're very excited to roll out this new education partnership with the administration, faculty, staff, and students at UMKC, said Chiefs Vice President of Partnership Strategy and Development, Kim Hobbs. We think the relationship between the team and the university will present extremely unique opportunities and access for their students moving forward and will reinforce the idea that Roo should never choose the norm. Also, KC Wolf is coming back to campus, and this time, he's bringing his friends. Join us, the Chiefs cheerleaders and Chiefs Rumble for Red Friday celebration. Grab a bite to eat as we cheer on our hometown team, the Kansas City Chiefs. This event will be held on September 22nd from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the University Walkway between Sweeney Center and Miller Nichols Library.
Well, Deja, even though we don't have an actual football team, I still think it's pretty cool that we're partnered with the Chiefs.
especially since we came back from the Super Bowl win, but they're looking forward to it. Well, thank you all for watching the show this week.
Be sure to hop on the subscribe button and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RooNewsUMKC. See you next week.